Just as in all other aspects of your ride, footwork playing a massive part, corners, it really starts to come to life. And although it might be very subtle in terms of what you can see, what you can feel makes a massive difference. Here we're not just talking about transfer of weight from front to back wheel as we go through a corner, remembering it's two-wheel steering through a corner. We're also talking about the rotation of the body mass. We've looked at corners in quite a bit of detail in previous issues, and we did look a little bit in our Strava edition as well. So we're going to just take a look at that on some plain old trail where you can see it really clearly, and then we're going to apply it and show you a little bit of it in action out on some single track. But just to recap on the effect of your feet on twisting your hips through a corner. When you tell someone to twist their hips through just standing still, say twist your hips, the shoulders end up turning a vast amount more quickly and further to drive the hips round. Now if I truly want to drive my hips round quickly, it's better to start with my foot. And all I need to do is roll my weight from a flat foot onto my big toe pad. And as I do so, my hips rocket round and I drive through and twist my hips through the corner. Applies in skiing, applies in anywhere where you want to get those hips over, but especially onto a pedal, driving those hips round and building things from the ground up where the strength lies through your core and driving that bike through the corner. So that's the rotation of the hips, which starts with the footwork, and then also we've got the slight fore aft motion in terms of a corner where we perhaps want to go in slightly heavier at the front end of the bike, but as we want to pump through the corner, we're going to rotate onto the rear of the bike towards the centre line and slightly beyond the centre line through a dropped heel. Let's look at that in action as Josh zigzags his way down the trail, and you can start to see as we slow that down the effect it has. So the dropping heel drives that back end around, and you can see that cutting motion as the heel drops, firing through and driving the back wheel around in a nice tight corner. So cutting through corners and pumping through corners, we see the foot rotating on the axle, slightly toe to slightly heel, and driving through the bike. Lovely work. But obviously if you're applying best practice, it's not just a case of being level pedalled and rolling your hips. You are in fact obviously going to have your outside foot down, the bike leaning, and your weight down through the centre line of the bike over the tyres. So no matter how much you pitch that bike over, which will make it turn faster, your weight is over the centre line of the tyres. Dropping your foot shouldn't be a choice. Get used to doing it, do it all the time. So enough of the fire road, let's go and have a little look at that in action on a nice little bit of single track. So by working on your footwork where things are easy, where wide spaces, where it doesn't really matter what the outcome is, just getting used to the feeling and the process of moving your feet in the correct way, when it comes to hitting the trail it's all going to happen a lot more naturally. If the first time you try and apply good footwork is on a nice windy single track like this, you're going to struggle. There's going to be a lot of data going on in the brain, a lot of decisions to be made, and there isn't going to be enough time to carry it out. What we're doing here needs to be an application of an unconscious skill that we've drummed into ourselves that we can perform expat without thinking. So let's see Josh come on through, trying to apply those good techniques to each corner, enabling. So a 12-foot high berm in a bike park might be a talent compensator when it comes to footwork, but out on natural trail you're going to have to use your feet a lot more if you want to maintain grip and lean that bike over and pump through corners. Don't get level pedalled, drop the outside foot, drop the heel, pump through the corner. And as you can see, Josh managed to get grip where there's very little, cut into the trail, really ping through that corner and accelerate through every section.